Once you install MySQL, you will notice that you get this MySQL Workbench 8.0 CE installed on your machine. What we are going to use is, we are going to use MySQL 5.7 command line client. So this is the command line prompt that we are going to use to type our queries, to create database, to create tables and so on. Now while installing your MySQL, they must have asked you to enter some password and username. You need to remember that, and when MySQL command line client gets opened, you need to enter that same password. Once you enter the password, there is a welcome message telling you that this is 5.7 version, and this is a prompt where you are going to type your queries, right, your commands. So the very first thing I want to do is I want to see what are the different databases that are currently existing. So I'll say show databases and semicolon. So in MySQL right now I have these many databases. Out of that you have information schema, MySQL performance schema, all these are default, whereas this EMP and test are some databases that I had created beforehand, right? So I will create another database. I'll say create database and I'll say test1 and semicolon. So this creates another database called as test1. So if you just say show databases, it is going to show test1 as well. Okay, I continue by, I want to use now this particular test1 database. So I will say use test1. With this, what will happen? It will tell you database change. So whatever tables that you are going to create, they will be now created in test1 database and not in any other database. So you are inside test1 database, right? Now let's see how to create a database. So I'll say how to create a table. So I'll say create table. I'll name the table as EMP, that is employee, with enumber, that is employee number. The data type of employee number is integer. Ename, that is employee name, the data type is say character, and I'll allow maximum 20 characters for the name. And third column of that particular table is salary, and the data type of that salary is say float. So with this, the table has been created. Now if I say show tables, it is going to tell me, it's going to show me what are the different tables which are currently present in my database called as test1. Right now we have just created EMP table, okay, by saying create table. If you want to see the description of the table which we have just created here, you can just say DESC, that is for description. Okay, we can say DESC, that is description, and give the table name and semicolon. So this is the table that is created for us. This table has three fields: employee number, data type is integer, okay, employee name, data type is character, and salary, the data type is float. Okay, there is also a concept in DBMS called as primary key, whether the values can be null or no. Okay, all that you can set, but I will restrict my discussion on those advanced topics. So this is basically a table that we have created, right? And now I will insert some fields into the table. So I'll say insert into the table whose name is EMP values. And what are the values? Say 1001 is the first employee ID. The name of the person is John, and the salary is say, fine. So with this, one row is created in the table, fine. Then I again say insert into EMP values, and the second tuple is the second employee whose ID is say 1002, whose name is Peter, okay, and whose salary it's say 60,000. And in the similar way, I'll also insert another tuple value. Say the value is 1003 is the employee ID. The name is Mary, whose salary is 65,000. Let's say there are 3 entries in the database table, right? Now if I want to see what are the entries in my database table called as EMP, I will use a query. There is a query called as select. So I'll say select star. Star means select everything from employee table. So this query called as select star from EMP is going to select all the attributes, that is E number, E name, salary. It will select all the attributes and it is going to display the values of those attributes. So when I press enter, this is the current table that I have. My table has employee number, first tuple. So this is basically when we talk about database tables. Okay, now see, in a table of a database, these are called as rows. Okay, horizontal are called as rows, vertical are called as columns. Columns represent the attributes, for example employee number, employee name, salary, whereas row represents the tuple. Okay, so single row or single tuple gives information about one person. So this tuple here tells that the employee number of a person is 1001, whose name is John and his salary is 50,000. So this is called as a tuple, whereas this is called as a column, right? And at the intersection of each row and each column, this is called as a cell. So how many cells are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Total 9 cells are there, right? Now this select query you can tweak so that you can get different results. For example, if I want to find out whose salary is greater than 60,000, okay, I can ask that query to the database. I can say select. Let's say I just want to get the name. Say select E name from employee table, where select the E name. I want to find out the name of a person where the salary of that person, or salary attribute, is greater than say 60,000, semicolon. So then it retrieves Mary, because you can see here Mary is the only person whose salary is greater than 60,000. Similarly, if I say select, I want to just select employee number and employee name. I don't want to get their salaries. So I say select ENO and E name from employee table. So this will do what? It will only select the employee number, employee name. It will not display the salaries. So you see, this is what I get. So remember students, whenever you fire a query, okay, to a database, it retrieves the result. So in Java, there is a class called as result set. This result set is going to retain this result. We have already seen about it, right? Also, to fire a query, we require a statement interface that we have seen, and statement interface has two sub interfaces, that is prepared statement and callable statement, right? So this is everything that you can do. Now also you can insert data. Now this is select. Select will only fetch the data from the database. Inserting means you can insert the data. For example, if I say insert into EMP, okay, values, okay, insert into EMP values. Suppose I say the next tuple value is say 1004, the name is say Kevin, okay, with salary it's say 40,000. Now another element has been inserted into the database, and now if I just want to display that full content of the database, so you can say select star from EMP. So now you see Kevin is also added as one more tuple to the database table. Now database contains several tables. Each of these tables are connected with some relation. That's why it is called as relational database. And each tables are connected to each other using a key, and that is called as primary key. Okay, and a foreign key. Now those of you who are not familiar to DBMS, this was a brief explanation for you all regarding what is database, what's a database table, and so on. So now that we have already created a database, our database, we have created a new database called as test1. Okay, so the test1 will be the database name, and the table name will be EMP. So now I will be writing a Java program that will that will fetch this data into the Java file. This is what I am trying to do now, right? Now there are several things that are required for this thing to be done. Okay, now I'll create a new project. Okay, and you can say Java application, just say next, and you can just save the project as, say, retrieve MySQL data. That's the name of my project, retrieve MySQL data. That's the name of the project folder, and here the name of the project will be MySQL retrieve. Okay, say finish. So this is going to create a Java file, and your code to connect to the MySQL database has to be written here. Now we have already seen, before we started this particular example, we have already seen what are the different steps of connecting to the database. Okay, the very first step of connecting to the database is importing the required files. So as I've told you, java.sql is a package that contains the information pertaining to the connection with the database. So I'm going to say import java.sql.star. Okay, so this is the first phase. You have to import. Second is you need to register the driver. As we have already discussed, your MySQL database, it has a driver. Okay, now we have seen there are 4 types of drivers. We are going to use a MySQL database driver. So before that, we need to add that driver to this project. So what we can do is, this is my, I'll just close this previous project. This is my MySQL retrieve project. Go to libraries and just click here, right click, and say add library. When you say add library, you get different libraries loaded. You have to locate a particular driver that is for MySQL. So you just select MySQL JDBC driver. So this is the driver that you are adding to your project, MySQL JDBC driver. Just say add library. So once that is done, you will see along with your JDK, you will have your MySQL JDBC driver, connection driver for MySQL 5.1. Fine. Now your driver is already included in your project. So after writing the import statement, the next step is you have to register your driver. So now what I will do is in the public static void main here, okay, I will write a code so that I register the driver. Okay, so driver manager is a class that I have already said that is used to register the driver. So I will say driver manager dot it has a method called as register driver. Fine. So I'll say mysql.register driver, and here you're going to write the full path of your driver. Okay, so I'll say new, and what driver it is? It's a MySQL driver. So I'll say new com.mysql.jdbc, okay, dot driver. Driver is a class. Okay, so by saying com.mysql.jdbc, this is a package that contains a class called as driver. Okay, so by creating object of that class, I am actually using this register driver method, I am actually registering the MySQL's JDBC driver. Okay, so driver has already been registered. So now with this driver, I'll be establishing the connection with the database. Okay, and we have already seen, to establish the connection, we are using a connection interface. Okay, so I'll say connection con is the connection string, is equal to, now your driver manager has a method called as get connection that we are going to use. So I'll say driver manager dot, I'll say get connection, and this get connection method, okay, it takes a string, an argument, okay, that will be the path to your database. So I will say, everything is in quotes, I will say JDBC colon MySQL, okay, colon backslashes. Now notice that MySQL server, okay, the name of the server, since I am using it locally, now it is localhost, and the port number that it had shown me is 3306. So you need to also copy whatever port number is displayed to you, which you can use it here. Localhost is the name of my localized service, and 3306 is the port number. Test 1 is the database that, so that means in my localhost 3306, that is in my MySQL server, I have just created a database called as test1. So I want that database to be used, okay, slash test1, and in that particular, database, so you write question mark here, okay, that user name of that database, okay, is equal to, say, amik, that's the username that I have given, and that is ampersand, password that I have set is root. Now while installing your MySQL, you must have already set, this port number you would have got there, and you must have already set some username and password. So you need to copy that, or you need to remember that, and you need to write the same username and password here, okay, and then the semicolon. So this one line here is going to register the connection. Now one more thing that I forgot to tell you is, see, this register driver and get connection methods, okay, if there is an exception, okay, the throwing mechanism is required, and that's why they are showing errors. So for public static void main, you should always write throws exception, right? Next, after establishing a connection to the database, if the connection is successful, it will print a message. Okay, it will print a message, connection successful. This is for my information. If at all there is some error that I obtain, I should know where exactly the error is. Similarly, if the driver is successfully registered, it will print a message that driver registration successful. Okay, this is just for my information. If there is some failure, I should know where exactly the failure is. That's why I have put this lines. So after registration of driver using driver manager class, I established the connection again using get connection method of driver manager. Next step is to now once the connection is established, next you are going to fire the queries. So you have to create SQL statement. Okay, and we have already seen there is something called a statement interface that we can use to create SQL statements. Okay, so I'll say this code is for creating SQL statements. Okay, so I'll use statement interface statement, say RS or STMT equal to STMT, and it has a method we have seen already. There is something called as execute query method, and execute query method internally you will be writing here the query that you want to fire into the database. So let's say select, I just want to print everything in the database, so I'll say select star from the table is EMP. Okay, select star from employee table. Now before writing the statement, I think I have missed out one small thing, and that is, I have to write here, I have not created a statement, so I'll say statement STMT equal to, using the connection string con has a method and that is called as create statement. So I'll be using that create statement method. So statement STMT is equal to con dot create statement. So actually STATEMENT statement. So this we can do later. So first of all you have to create a SQL statement. So creating SQL statement, for that you can use the connection object that we have created here. Dot, this connection object has a method called as create statement that will help you to create a statement, and the name of the statement is STMT. Now we are going to use this STMT statement object to execute the query. Okay, so next is execute. Okay, execute the statement. So we have to execute the statement. So to execute the statement, now what will happen? In this you are going to fire the query select star from EMP. Now once the query is fired, it is going to return some tuples. Where these tuples are going to be stored? So there is a class called as result set. Okay, the object of that result set class will it will receive all those results that are returned from the database. So I'll say result set, and the object name is RS, let's say, equal to, now I will use this STMT object of statement, and now it will use a method called as execute query. Which query? The same query that I had written earlier, that is select star from employee table. This is the query. Okay. Now once this query is fired, the result set, it will the object of result set, it will contain the result, it will get the result. Now that result will not be single tuple, it will be many tuples. Each tuple has to be handled, and the values of each tuple have to be printed. Okay, so now we will write a code to retrieve from result set and display the column data. Okay, so we will retrieve from result set and display column data. Fine. So to do that, I'll say while result set dot next is true. That means while there are still more tuples which are being fetched from the which are being fetched and stored in the result set, I'll simply print each and every element of the result set using getXX method. Now notice that the first element of the column is employee number, which is integer. So I will use getInt method for that. So I'll say system dot out dot print ln, and I will say here rs result set dot, and I will use getInt method. I'll use getInt method, and the value here is 1. Now by writing 1 here, I am specifying that here you are going to print getInt. First of all, the value that you are going to print is integer, and from where you are going to get it, whatever is there in the first column, whatever is there in the first column, that is employee number, that will be printed here for that particular record set which is being fetched, right? Then again I will copy this. The second element happens to be of the table happens to be employee name, which is a string value. So I'll say rs dot get string, and since it is the second column whose value to be displayed, I'll say 2. Then third, it's a floating point value. So system dot out dot println res dot get float it will be. And since the salary value is it's supposed to be from the third column, so for every iteration it will take one tuple, and in that tuple the first column data will be printed, then the second column's data will be printed, third column's data will be printed. And then what I will do is, just to show you a separation between these different tuples, I will just write another system.out.println. Okay, here we will simply print some partition. Okay, let's say this is the partition. So after every record being printed, this will be the partition, for example. Now, so this is how we can retrieve the data from the result set and display the column data. Now it is very important, the last step is, once the data is fetched, displayed, you need to close the connection. That's the last step. Closing connection is the last step. So the code here is con the connection string dot, you can say close. It will close the connection. Okay, now if there are any errors, it will show, otherwise it will run. So we have done this. I save my file and I say run. Yes, so it said driver registration is successful, connection is successfully established, and then you can see the same data that is from the table which we saw here, the same data getting printed. So you see first tuple value, employee number is 1001, then the name is John and his salary is 50,000. Then this is the partition which shows that next it will be second tuple, 1002 Peter, 60,000 is the salary. Then again partition, then 1003 Mary, this salary value, and so on. So this is how a simple database connection can be established, and this is how the MySQL data can be printed onto can be retrieved by JDBC, and it can be printed through the Java program. Your JDBC driver is basically a collection of predefined Java classes which enable the communication based on defined database. Okay. Now a driver is basically hardware or software that makes two separate computing systems, they talk to each other. For an instance, Oracle will have its own JDBC driver. MySQL, another definitive JDBC driver will be there, implementing enormous interfaces. While using a given driver, it uses the model JDBC interface. Consequently, we can generate a new JDBC driver considering the JDBC code as a black box. So this is a code that you can, you can consider the JDBC code as a black box, and you can generate a new driver. This is a syntax: public static void for name, and here you will write the class name, the driver class name, throws class not found exception. After loading and initializing the said driver, we need the communication or the link with the database. Okay, so now there is a small procedure that we are going to use. Okay, what we are trying to do is, let's say I want to use a Microsoft Access. Okay, in order to, now we have used MySQL, but let's say I want Microsoft Access or something like that, a database. So there is something called as DNS, setting up of DNS. So now we are going to see that procedure. Okay, so let's begin. All such communications with Java applications are established through a connection object. We have already seen that. Multiple connections can commence at a time for communicating with the same database. Now we can do this in two different ways. One, by creating a DNS, that is data source name. Now this procedure is ideal since it provides the detailed information of the data source to the respective Java application, and it is better compared to driver manager class definition concept. So we can say con driver manager dot get connection, say jdbc.odbc dsn, where this dsn is nothing but the data source name. DSN name, it creates a link between the JDBC driver and the ODBC driver, which is created to connect, say, Oracle, MS Access, MS SQL Server, whichever database, right? So DSN basically is, it creates a link to connect your JDBC driver, Java's JDBC driver, to the ODBC driver that is there for these particular databases. Now DSN must be created prior to the execution of the program. Now what we are going to see next is how to create DSN. Assuming that we are using Windows, okay, we will see steps to create, to configure DSN. Now your system, it may be 32-bit or 64-bit processor, you can find out that. Then you can search for ODBC database source app. So in your search, you can just search for ODBC data sources. So this app, since my system, the one which I am using for demo, it is 64-bit. There are both these version flavors that you can see. So I will go for ODBC data source 64-bit. I need to click here. So after double clicking, you will see this particular dialog box. This is called as ODBC data source administration dialog box for 64-bit. If your computer is 32-bit, it will open it for 32-bit, right? Now now in that there are different tabs. Okay, so for when you click this user DSN, okay, you see various DSNs that are registered. Okay, now out of those different tabs, you are going to click on system DNS tab. So this tab you click. Now this system DNS tab enables you to create your own DNS. So as a result, DNS can be created connecting databases with applications across other computer systems which are connected in LAN. And this is very important if you are using distributed systems. Okay, so you are going to click on this system DNS. Further, for adding a new DNS, you can click that add button. So then once you are in system DNS, you need to click this add button. Once you click this add button, you get this particular dialog box, which is called as create new data source dialog box. And in this dialog box, you will see different drivers. So you select which driver you want. For example, I want to use this Microsoft Access driver right now. So I will click on this Microsoft Access driver and say finish. Okay. Now once you do that, once you say finish, you will get this, ODBC Microsoft Access setup that gets opened, where you need to write your data source name. You can write any DSN name, and then you have to select a database, whichever you want to connect. So when you click this select button, okay, this select database dialog box gets opened, okay, wherein you get, when you click on this access databases, you click here, you get list of databases which you want to select. Okay, right? So when you click on that, what I have done is I have selected MS Access database, this one, okay, and I have said okay. Thus, the required DNS is created after clicking OK. In our case, Microsoft Access database has been created. So this is a driver for Microsoft Access database. Then you can say OK, and then you can use it to retrieve data from Microsoft Access database, to insert data into the Microsoft Access database, and so on. In the next example, we shall see how we can insert bulk data into the database. Previous example, we saw how to retrieve values from the database. So I have created here a table, okay, create table. The name of the table is my tab, and I have chosen only two columns into it, that is A and B, the name of the columns, and both are of type integer. Okay, description of my tab is this, where A happens to be the integer type, and field B is also an integer type. Okay, so now we will insert data into this particular table. We will try to insert data into the table through the program. Okay, so this is a new project that I have created. The name of the package here is insert SQL. Okay, because I am going to insert the data into it, right? As I had told in the previous program as well, that before even we start writing the program, before even we write the import statements, it is very important to add the library, okay, for MySQL driver, MySQL JDBC driver. So select it and say add library. Fine. So you can see here, besides JDK, there is also MySQL JDBC driver that is added. And now in insert SQL, the very first thing that you do is import statement. So I will say import, okay, import java.sql .star, okay, import java.sql .star, and then, so this is the import statement. Now in the public static void main, I am going to register the driver as we have done in the previous previous program. So to register the driver, I will say driver manager dot register driver. Fine. And I'll say new, okay, register driver, I'll say new. Now here you are going to specify the driver name. So I'll say com dot mysql dot jdbc. So this is a package, and it has a class called as driver, is the class. So this is how we have registered the driver. Next we have to establish the connection. So I will just write the code here next. Connection, say con equal to, okay, driver manager dot, okay, and the method is get connection. Now this get connection method, you are going to specify the string. So that is, you will say JDBC colon MySQL colon / then localhost, okay, 3306 test. Now the database that we are using is test1, right? And within the test1 database, okay, the username and password will be same. Okay, so I will say user equal to omk and password equal to the name of the value of the password is root. That is what I have set, and you will say semicolon. So you see here, okay, it shows here error because, as I have said previously, it should throw an exception. throws exception. Fine. So now, so this is your driver manager. So you said JDBC MySQL localhost 3306 test1 is the database name, username is Amey, password is root. Okay, so this is how connection is established. Now next we are going to create the statement. So I will say statement, okay, stmt, that's a statement, equal to, now con, that's a connection string, dot create statement, right, con dot create statement, that will create the statement object. And then okay, now what I want to do is I want to insert some bulk value, say 999 rows I want to insert at a stretch. Okay, now I want to also check what is the time that is required to do this particular thing. So for that I will use a method, okay, I'll say long t1, which will store the time, the current time. I'll say system system dot, and there is current time millis, that is the current time in milliseconds will be stored. Okay, the current clock time in milliseconds will be stored. Okay, so that is current time. Now I will actually write the code of inserting 999, okay, say 999 rows, meaning the tuples, the values in my tab, right, because the table that I've created is my tab. So I will be inserting here. Okay, right now there are no values. Okay, if you say select star from my tab, if you say, okay, it says that it is empty set. Okay, so now what I will do is in this program I will write a code that will insert 999 rows into the my tab all at once. So I'll say for int I equal to 1, I less than 1000, so it becomes total 999 iteration, I plus plus, and for every iteration I'm going to insert one tuple at a time, right? So inside I'll say stmt, I'm using the statement dot, and it has, whenever you want to insert something into the database, there is a method called as execute update. Okay, execute update method, and I'm going to write the query here. So what is the query? I'll say insert into my tab, that's my table, values. Okay, now what are the values that I want to insert? I will just insert the value of a as I, b as I itself. Okay, so what are the values? I'll say insert into tab values, I'll say plus I, okay, plus, now I have to print comma, so this will be there in quotes, again plus I, and then I have a closing bracket, and that is the query that I have inserted. Okay, so what will happen is insert into my tab values, first I comma I. So in the first iteration it will insert 1 comma 1, in the second iteration it will insert 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3, and so on into the data table of the database, right? So this is the loop for that. And now after insertion, so this way 999 columns will be, the rows will be inserted, or tuples will be inserted, and now I will also now calculate the time after insertion. Okay, so again I'll just copy this, again I'll create another time variable, long variable, that is say t2. Okay, and I'll say t2 equal to system.current time in milliseconds. Okay, now the total time that is elapsed, okay, the total time that is being consumed for doing this operation will be t2 minus t1. So I will just print that. I'll say system.out dot println, okay, and I'll say time taken for this particular insert operation is nothing but it is t2 minus t1. Okay, so this is the this should be system. Okay, so this is the total time that is taken for, and then once this is done I will close the connection. So I'll just say con dot close, right? This will close the connection. Fine. So this is the database that I have, the table that I have. Right now it is empty and I'm trying to insert some data values into the database, right? I have closed MySQL. Anyways, let's run and let's check. Okay, so I save this program and I run. Let's see whether there are some errors first. Okay. Yes. So what has happened is, as you can see here, the program has executed. It has inserted these many values. 999 rows. It has been inserted into the my tab table, and at the end it has calculated t2 minus t1. So in milliseconds, it is 24,856 milliseconds. That is a time that is taken to execute this query. Okay, so notice that we will just see the table again. I'll just go to MySQL back and I'll see the table. So I'll just say select, okay, use test1, that's the database. Okay, that's a database, and then I will say select star from my tab. Let's see. So as you can see here, your my tab, the table that you had created, my tab, these are the values which are stored in my tab, right? So these are the values. Altogether there are total 999 rows which have been inserted into this particular table. Okay, total finally is 999 rows inserted, and the time that is taken to insert is 24,856 milliseconds. Okay, so let us record this time. It is 24,856 milliseconds. Now we have already seen that the statements are of different types. There is also a statement called as prepared statement. Okay, so this prepared statement, it can be used to modify the previous program, right? So what I will do is, I will just after establishing connection, whenever the statement which is specified over here, I will just create a prepared statement. So instead of statement, I will say prepared statement. What I am trying to do, using this prepared statement, I am trying to find out whether using statement interface, whatever insertion that we did, 999 rows, the time taken was 24,856. So I am just trying to check what will be the change, okay, with respect to the time taken to insert 999 rows, if in fact I was using prepared statement rather than a normal statement interface. Okay, so I'll say prepared statement stmt, okay, equal to connection string, that is con dot and prepared statement has a method called as prepare statement. Fine. And here I am going to just write the query in prepare statement, insert into. Okay, now before that, just to see, I will just delete this table and I will create the table again. Okay, otherwise we will not be able to see the difference. So I will delete this myTab table and we will create it again, and then we will see what is the time to insert 999 rows. Okay, so I'll just say, okay, so I will say delete from the table name is myTab. Okay, so this command, delete command, will not delete the table. I was trying to delete the table, so don't do drop table. You can say delete from myTab. So this will delete the entries from a particular table. So now if you say select star, that means select everything from myTab, you will see that the table is empty. So what we have done is we have deleted all the entries from the table. Okay, now what we will do is we'll again write the query. Okay, we'll again write the query, but this time using prepared statement. Okay, so I'll say insert into, now it's possible to insert, so I'll say insert into myTab. Yes, values okay, and since I'm using prepared statement, there is a proper particular syntax, question mark, comma, question mark. Okay, I put semicolon here. So I say insert into myTab values question mark, comma, question mark. And now what are the values? Okay, so then before entering the values, okay, I will have to again see, I will have to find out what is my current system time. So I have found out the system time. Now I will continue with this inserting thing. So I'll just say for I equal to 1, I less than 1000, I plus plus. Okay, now in this here, earlier I was using statement, normal statement. Now I am using prepare statement. Okay, so I'll write here. So what we are trying to do here, I am trying to set the values for above mentioned question mark, comma, question mark. So I am trying to set the values for this question mark, comma, question mark. Okay, so I will comment this code. This was a previous code where I was using simple statement. Now for prepared statement, I'll say the name of the statement is stmt again, stmt dot I will use set xx method. So I'll say set int. Why int? Because both are integers. Okay, set int I, first I represents the column. So in the first column, okay, I want to insert the value I, and stmt dot again set int. In the second column, that is B, also I will insert I. So same thing will happen. This is just another way of inserting a batch of values into the database table. Okay, the same thing should happen, but only thing is that here I am using prepared statement instead of normal statement. And very important, please remember, after using get set xx method, after setting all the values, what we have to do is we have to say execute statement dot execute update, right? So before this for loop is closed, I'll say stmt dot execute update. Okay, so I'll say execute update here. So that means it will execute the update. This thing will be reflected into the database table. Fine. So this is a small code that we have modified Fine. And now, okay, I will again after doing this insertion here, we again calculate the time, the current time, and the total time elapsed will be T2 minus T1, and finally the connection is closed. Okay, I have already recorded the with the previous method using a normal statement interface. Okay, using a normal statement interface, the time taken was 24,856 milliseconds. Now let us see whether the time is less or it is more, and so on. So you can see that when I tried to use a prepared statement interface, the runtime, the total time required to run that query to insert 999 rows on the same table after making it empty, the time taken here was 27 seconds. Okay, whereas when I ran the program, the modified program, this was using prepared statement interface. When I tried to run the program by modifying it, so that instead of prepared statement interface object, I tried to use statement interface object, what I observed was on the same database, on the same table, after making it empty, I tried to insert again 999 rows, and the time that was taken was 1 minute 56 seconds. So as you can see here, when you use statement interface object in order to insert elements into the in order to insert bulk element into the table of the database, the time taken, okay, the time taken when you use prepared statement interface is much less compared to that taken by a statement interface object. So this is an advantage of using a prepared statement interface, so that when you want to insert something in bulk, it is better that you use prepared statement in place of normal statement interface. Thank you.